We made it. We made it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello from Wild Creator 88 in Hawaii. So a bit late today because we have fires and huge winds. The winds have actually slowed down a bit, but I cannot be in the tree because I would blow down the ravine. But we are on watch for the fire just over yonder. So I am a little late, but I'm here. Oh, we had power outages, and it's just come back on. So we'll just see how we go. So I apologize for any inconvenience. And let's see if you come back on, because there was a bunch of people on earlier, a few minutes ago. So I'm in the lounge. This is the altar, the main altar. And we'll just see how we go. So the Zoom's back up. If you want to come over to Zoom, there we are. She's here. And so those of you that don't know me, I'm Cynthia Harrison. I'm a mystic medicine woman, yogini, metaphysics minister, and an ascension, awakening ascension, and trauma specialist, because often we can get triggered. Hey, Mercedes, sorry about that. I'm running a bit late. You missed it. We've got fires and we've had blackouts. And I don't know if you can hear the wind. I wish I could show you. It's crazy. Let me put the sound on so that you can hear it. Can you hear the wind? Whoa! So I'm here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because it's also our first anniversary. 8/8 is our anniversary. So you see some of the images behind me. On top of Mauna Kea, and all these little ones. So we just opened these this morning, so they're just on the altar for now and all around the floor of our ceremony on top of Mauna Kea, the highest point on earth. Crazy. We watched the video last night and went, are we mad? Whose idea was that? But I can't tell you all the story, although so Eric and I tomorrow, if you'd like to join us, I sent out an email, but I believe it's on Rhombus Healing Arts Facebook page as well. But if you didn't get it, I'll see how I go. I've got classes today, so I'll see how I go about getting it out again. But tomorrow, 4 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, so probably a bit late for some of you. I'm sure there'll be a replay. Eric and I are coming together because he's stepping out in another way, and our anniversary is a beautiful way to do that, because what we teach about is cosmic love and the phenomena around that. And the actual natural phenomena or supernatural phenomena that was around our first year is quite amazing. And so we haven't really shared a lot of it. We've done sort of bits and pieces and put like an email out and whatnot. So tomorrow in the afternoon, we're going to have a chat together about what happened. The volcanic eruptions, we've got fire here, the wind, I mean, it's Lion's Gate. So that's tomorrow. I'll give him a little plug. In the email, there's a link, and it's a link to his page called Unconditional Love. So if you don't get the emails or whatever, just go to Unconditional Love Facebook page, and that's Eric's page. And you'll see my head there anyway, because he's always putting stuff about us on there. But that is the page around unconditional love, or the purity of unconditional love. And, you know, the core of what we both are here to share. So just in case I forget or I get cut off, if you want to join us for that, that's tomorrow. So I don't know what's going to come out today. I've got the gong here. I just thought I'd show up, just freshly out of the shower, and thought I could still get on in time, right? Because we've been watching the fire. Well, I've been smelling the fire since 1 a.m. and I'm Australian bush girl, so I'm very much if there's a smell of fire, I'm on it, right? So all the other side of the road has been evacuated and the road's closed off. But the wind's so strong, I'm just keeping an eye on it, because if that wind changes, then I got to get out of here. But for now, we're safe, and maybe let's just have a moment for those people, and actually everywhere over the world, who may be going through something scary. I've been evacuated from fires before. I felt it this morning, a little PTSD in my back. It was because, you know, I lived in the bush. So, you know, it's a common thing every year. We're dealing with fires. So where you are in the world, you might be dealing with, well, volcanoes. The volcano, we live on a volcano, but it's not a live one. But next weekend we're going to one that just erupted. So so I'll see what I share from there. But that's just, it's not that far from here, Mauna Loa. So we got married on Mauna Kea, the top of Mauna Kea, the father of Hawaii. And the ceremony and what took place at 9,000 feet and then 14,000 feet, and how that was planned by, feeling all the elements exactly. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I love it in a mad way, because I'm watching this tree and it's like, oh my God, how is anything out there even standing up? But it's like the magnificence of it all. And you can probably feel it in my energy. I'm all like, yeah. And like floods and, you know, all of this. It's so amazing, you know, Mother Nature birthing and destructive, right? So I might go there. This afternoon I've got a class, and look, I'm trying not to tease, but I also, you know, can't do a whole full-on class, right? So, you know, Mercedes, right? But just know that the last week or so, it's been coming in for a while, but the last probably 3 days has been such downloads for me. Just huge downloads. Now, my downloads, see, this is love and fear, right? Fear of love. My downloads come with a lot of physical pain. I don't know if you knew that. Have I ever talked about that? Yeah. So for many, many years. So if I got particular pain in my body, after a while, I got excited about it. I know it's mad, but this is how you can shift the pain. It's like going, there's information here. And I would go grab my journal and a pen, or my colours, and I would go and sit on the back veranda in Perth that looked over the bush and the river and whatnot, and it would just come. Now I don't do that now. I mean, I sit and look over the ocean, but how it comes in is like in a different way, and such deep. It's not like, it wasn't that it's new. Like, let me share this. So while we're doing this, you know, just sending out as our community, and we're going to do the gong in a moment, because I haven't forgotten, it's like in this energy that we're sending so through the transmission, we're sending our love, our purity of unconditional love to all of those that have been evacuated. I don't know if anyone's been injured, but I know what it's like to be evacuated, even if you don't lose your stuff. But if you lose your stuff, or even pets and stuff, right? I can remember going with my llama and my 2 dogs, a Great Dane and my other, to the park, the Oval, and then having to be evacuated from the evacuation place. Like all of this sort of stuff, it can be quite terrifying and traumatizing. So in this, we're holding all of that energy, but within that as well, I want you to feel I know it sounds bizarre, the excitement, the power, the creation energy of that, right? Because that's what I'm in now, right? Because I shifted the pain in my back. I had all this pain and my back started, and we practice every morning to move through whatever is coming up in the physical, like whatever fears are coming up from the nervous system being activated in those certain ways. So anyway, back to my downloads. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm honoring my students, my current students, because this is part of what they're learning. However, most of you have been following me for years, and I've talked about the blue. You heard me talk about the blue. And in fact, I mean, if you look at this wall of pictures, look, here's Eric. It's all blue, right? Look at the blue. Look at this one. I've got to show you this one, our yoga, right? On the highest point on Earth. Now, Mount Everest is a highest point in another way. So there's from directly under the ocean to the tip, and from the edge to the tip. So anyway, you can go and Google it. Yeah, it's just madness. But everything that we've done has been guidance. Everything to do with those us coming together in the ceremonies and whatnot have been to do with particular data transmission. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't want to make it weird. It's just the way I live. And even the vows and everything had to be certain wording because that's how it came through. And so it was actually Eric's mum and dad that they're both Zen priests, and they both married us to, at the lower point. No one came up to the higher point because of the, some people find it hard to breathe and stuff up there. Not us. In my gown, mind you, Mercedes. Look at this. Look at this one. Anyway, I think it's hilarious. It makes me happy that we actually did what we needed to do at these different points. So if you know anything about the journey of the Rise to the Rose, this ceremony is actually the Rise to the Rose. So how we connect at different levels. There's a drop and a rise and a drop and a rise until we are face to face, both wearing crowns as supreme, you could say, supreme consciousness, in the way that you are. And it's interesting because Eric and I we tease each other that who's the tallest, because if we stand eye to eye, I'm taller because my eyes are higher, but his head is like, we're the same. It's it's just really bizarre how the body is built. My shoulders, I think, are higher, but his head is, I don't know. Anyway, so we tease each other about that. But these levels of connection, and the lower level was the connection of us, the humans, and what we ate and the significance and whatnot. So I don't know exactly what we're going to go into tomorrow, but we're going to look at some of the phenomena that happen, and the science, and different dates and whatnot that occurred. So, all right. So I was going somewhere with that. Oh, the blue. So I've always taught about the blue, or the Great Mother, and this energy has taken me all around the world, and basically, even here, like even so, I'm never going, oh, should I go or shouldn't I go, right? I'm like, I'm shown and I'm there, because it's a trust that's built up over years, and my relationship with that energy that is an aspect of the beloved. So I've always had this connection to the blue. And it's interesting that, I have taught and I do teach the connection to the red. But the red isn't my direct experience in yoga. We talk about the blue ethers, and there's different levels of ether that you can access with awakening or awareness, consciousness, conscious evolution. And there's some that you connect with once you've, walked on from this physical, right? And I always read or was told by teachers, not to bag them or anything, it's just that know that we all have slightly different paths. And many of you that are my students have worked with me, and you'll see the blue, or you'll start to hear. And that's because that's my lineage, right? We could call it the Ek, the holy Nam, the sound of the spheres, the cosmic music, right? It's all part of being activated at certain levels in your development. And I've always said, it doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It's just like human development, and, so I don't want to go into that too much. So this blue, and when I started Psi, I said to the ladies on the first day, we did a red thread connection, because I am connected to the red thread of, and I've been teaching the red thread connection, which is, that the ancient Chinese proverb is the invisible thread that connects us all, right? So it could be blood, or it could be energy, or it could be whatever. And Shiloh Sophia wrote a book, The Red Thread, and I helped research that and look for all the different ways that we wear red thread for, superstition or religion or whatever. And there's hundreds of reasons why people wear red thread. And when I went to India, I had my red threads, because every time I did a painting class, we did a red thread connection, connecting all the people that I've ever worked with, all the other teachers that teach a similar way and use the red thread connection. So everybody who's ever done a red thread connection is connected at that moment that I do that red thread connection, or those other teachers do it. And there's hundreds of us around the world now that do the red thread. But I always saw the blue, and I always danced with the divine as that blue energy. And she's the one that took me all over the world, and led me and informed me, and still does. So the depth of the teaching that we're going into in Psi is blowing my mind, and I will unfold as I can for those of you that show up live, right? Because everything that I share is my world, is my life, right? So, some people might think I just sit here and talk about myself. think of that as a metaphor, right? Because all the ancient texts and whatnot are metaphor and parable for guidance of how to live. And I'm no different to that. Do you see? Our stories are stories to model ways of knowing, ways of being, not telling you how to, but saying there's an opportunity or a different option if you're open to it, right? Not that your way or another way is better or worse. I'm happy to walk with you in whatever path you're on, you know, be like, yeah, hey, you're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing. You be in the red, I'll be in the blue, right? Have any of you watching, have I taken you through the candle meditation? So I've taught for many, many years this candle meditation. So you might be thinking, there's a couple of candle meditations. One's just looking at the candle, but one is what the candle represents. And the candle, I've always taught the candle representing an aspect of the soul, and how the flame on the wick, so the wax, let me say it this way, the wax is the matter, so is what is here on earth, right? And the wick is what's lit, holds the flame to the earth, so holds the soul to the earth, to matter, and is constantly trying to rise, ascend. Now, I'm not going to go into it today because it's this afternoon's lesson. I'm just giving you breadcrumbs so that if you've done those classes, you might go back to that and go, oh, what were my notes on that? Or once I've taught it, then I can bring it in, because there is nothing else. There's nothing else. I can't tell you. I drove Eric mad. Well, probably not, because he's pretty relaxed. you can handle anything, you know. And that's one reason we're together, because his energy is very, you know. Yeah, most people can't handle him, and most can't handle me. Like, it's like a lot of, you know. But it's like we're nothing to each other in a way, which is, I used to call him the cone of silence. Do you know, in Maxwell Smart, they go into the cone of silence. And if you're sensitive, you'll appreciate this. I'm never in the dark, and I'm never in silence, because I'm just this antenna that is attuned, right? So when I'm with somebody and it's just silent and still, it's like the cone of silence. It means I'm not getting, do you know what I mean? It's so bizarre. It's like I'm a normal human. And I haven't been a normal human for a long time. I think coconuts have fallen off. Coconuts fallen off the trees. Mangoes have fallen off the trees. Yes. Okay. I can see them from here. I'm going to get those mangoes. They're not quite ripe yet, but so cone of silence. So those of you that are really sensitive, and what happens as you develop, you do get sensitive. You get more sensitive, but there's ways of navigating and negotiating those sensitivities. But back to the blue, because the blue is the mother. The blue is, okay, so I have taught you lately about the Shekinah, yeah? I've been talking about the Shekinah, or the Shlina, or that, right, in Hebrew. Shlina, Shekinah, in other traditions. So she came to me originally as, you know, I would say Kundalini awakening, right? The Kundalini developing the way that it does, and rising and moving through and activating, okay? That's a blue energy too. And when she became alive, what I would say alive within me, it was like another entity. Now, it sounds like a possession, I know, but I think it's the closest to a possession. It probably is a type of possession. It's like this other entity within you, but it is you. It's the you that maybe some of you don't know yet. Do you remember last week I was saying there's no end without a beginning? And that's sort of what I was alluding to. Because how can you have an ending if you don't have a beginning? And the beginning is where you start to live. Many people that you will know, not necessarily you watching, but many that you will know, are not alive, really alive. You're here incarnated, but it's almost like the Walking Dead. Just feeling into that. That might have hit a few of you a little harsh, but hey, it is just how it is. Because if you understood or experienced directly what it is to live, and that scares some of you. It scares some of you because you feel. You feel. So what did I just say? When I'm getting data, I feel it in my nervous system, in my physicality. And, you know, at the speed and level that comes in at times, my little human needs to stretch. And in that moment, and it might be days, it might be weeks, sometimes it's only a couple of days. It's like something in particular, because usually it's like a drip feed. But there are times when it's like boom, 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 and it's like, whoa. And I said to Eric, over the last few days, it's like it brought me back to the, where I started with the blue and my connection to that blue, and nothing else mattered. And other, spiritual teachers and mentors and whatnot, I would ask them and they couldn't tell me. They would tell me this stuff that I'm not even going to repeat because it's ridiculous. And I didn't take it on. I did not listen to me. I did not take it on. If what I'm saying to you doesn't feel right for you, don't take it on. It may not be your path. But if you see the blue or have had glimpses of that blue and you felt it in your body, like a divine union type feeling, then listen. Listen. I was teaching for years sound, light, presence. Not light, sound, sound, light, presence. Because and this is the mystic path. You see how it's taken me back. Who am I? Why am I here? I'm a mystic. I didn't make it up. I didn't choose it. It's just how I see and am in the world. Is mystically inclined. That means something. It's not a word that I just chose. And that's what we're talking about. Direct experience. And so when I read something or hear something, I hear behind it. I see behind it. I get information that's deeper. And so what I'm telling you about this blue, I'm not going to go, into the whole thing because it could blow your mind a little. And I have to be careful. Well, not careful. I have to be mindful that when I share with other people those experiences, that there is some container for it, right? A lot of this stuff we were told not to teach in public, not to share in public. There are reasons for that, and I think we talked about this in bits and pieces over the last few weeks. Rebel brought it up a little bit. And I have a little bit more insight into that as well, for those of you that have some fear around it. So maybe we could talk about that. Although it'll be really cryptic without the whole picture, because you've got to understand in these lives, you're just getting little trickles. You're getting little trickles. And I guess that's enough. A little trickle is enough, right? So if I tell you about the candle, it's enough to go, so what we're doing, and we bring in information in a way that's connected to the earth, the matter, the physicality, right? So a candle. I have a candle here. Oh, have a red one here. I actually got a bunch of new candles, but I wasn't prepared this morning because of everything. But of course it's like this. Of course it is, right? Eric said to me, we watched our wedding video last night, and he said something like, "Oh, you seem like, oh yeah, to all this phenomena." And I said to him, "You got to understand, I don't go, oh yeah, I go, of course, of course, of course, of course." Do you see? It's been so long, like 30 odd years now, the phenomena and the miracles and the, right? Of course, I expect it now. I expect it. Of course. I also know, and my friend Lauren, I don't know if she's on, but we've traveled a lot together, Australia and America, France, and she's been with me. This is the thing. Every time phenomena's happened, majority of it I've been with people and they've experienced me in that. They may not have seen what I've seen, but they've felt or experienced something of it, right? So when I was traveling with Lauren, shamans, mystics, medicine men, medicine women, to a degree, when they're at a point, right? The point, right? The point in the circle, point. Some of you will recall that from Evolver teachings, right? So I'm just, if you've done that, if you're a student, just go back to, oh yeah, okay, what was she saying about that? Because I'm referencing a lot of teachings. And for those of you that are new or haven't learned, it's enough to sort of, if it grabs your attention, to go and look deeper or ask me, talk to me, email me, right? That you can shift the weather. And there's specific ways of doing that. And everywhere that Lauren and I went, there was extreme weather, out of the blue extreme weather, tsunami. What was it? Snowstorms when we went up Mount Shasta, right? And we were told not to go up there, but we went. Because as we got to places, this phenomena was happening. Now, was it us? Yes and no. No and yes. Was it everybody? Today is 8/8 in Hawaii. In Australia, it's 9, right? 9/8. Is it the gate? Possibly. So it's about understanding that we all have the potential to be able to shift and move with, so I was talking to the wind this morning, not telling it what to do, but being with it, because if the wind changes, it's going to come, that fire, which is still going, but the ocean is right there. So it's along the coast where it doesn't seem that there's houses, but they've evacuated all the ranch, where there's lots of houses and stuff, right? So it's not trying to control it necessarily. It's like dancing with it and being it. Some of you know that when you so as I said it, I felt it. I just linked into that tree, right? I know it sounds bizarre to some of you. That's okay. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're not mystically inclined. Beautiful. It doesn't mean you're better or worse than us. It's just that, maybe your path's a different one. I know my path. I get shown it regularly. And if I go slightly off, it's like, no, what are you doing? Get back on. This is what you're here to teach. This is what you're here to model. And this is what you're here to do and be and are. It's about the blue. Go try and find teachings on the blue, right? There's stuff out there, but I can tell you a lot of it is rubbish. A lot of it is rubbish. So the sounds as well. the sounds of the spheres. So that's probably the key to that. So any of you that have questions about what you hear, how it comes in, anything like that, talk to me. I have 15 years of teachings on the sounds of the spheres, the music of the spheres. Most people call the music of the spheres stuff that isn't music of the spheres because it just sounds good. What is it really? It links to the sound, the light, the presence. It's a mystic teaching. And when you, hang on, I'm just going to read these comments. There's a few there. Funny, I mentioned the cone of silence to my husband yesterday. What, did you want the cone of silence? Or okay, I thought I was imagining it being with the waves, the wind thing, changing, calming down. Thank you for sharing this. Yeah. Look, for years, I would sit and just share what's going on. Wow, I'm just looking at the ocean. And share what's going on. And I'm telling you, my students just thought I was nutso for a long time, and until they started to experience it directly. A mystic gives you direct experience. That's the difference. One of the main differences, direct experience. Okay, if you work, this isn't a plug, but hey, it's just how it is. If you work one-to-one with me, right, you have direct experiences. I give you a sharing of how I build and connect to the beloved, and they build and connect to the beloved, right? How long they can hold that state is dependent on their development. So the process is developing your energetic systems, which is what we're doing here. Even me just sitting here transmitting is activating your system to some degree, right? Everybody's different. So just notice that if you have pain and it shifts or it goes, or you don't have pain and it comes in, what is that information telling you, right? And are you going into fear or not? Are you going into, oh, I've got a headache now, or I feel sleepy now, or whatever? Drink water for a start, because I can even tell by the way I'm speaking, like the energy's real quick, right? It's real quick, which is awesome, but a lot for the physical to hold to your nervous system gets activated. So let's bring it down a bit. So yes, students would say, they would call me or come to the clinic, because I used to teach in person, and they would say, I was hearing the birds. And what they mean by that is, when I would walk, it would sound like the birds' wings were flapping right above my head, like huge wings just going. Have you heard that? It's like boom, 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 right? And I'd look up and they'd be so far away. You become the bird. You are the bird. And I would explain this for years. For over 10 years I've been teaching this stuff. Over 15 probably now. I've been teaching this stuff. Now, I was a nutcase to everybody, but enough students have gone through and have experienced it directly themselves, and they'll come back and tell me, that story about the bird, and I just smile and nod, right? Or the trees, I would say, the trees down the paddock, down the back of the property, they're like, the leaves are like my eyelashes or my hair. And when they move, I can feel them moving, like I can feel. So here I'm connecting with you, but every now and then I'm looking out, I'm connecting to the tree, and I can feel the tree. I am the tree. The tree is me. So when we talk about oneness, that's just a small example, right? The thing is, building your capacity to be able to hold that amount of information in your nervous system, your physicality. So the dangers, if you want to talk about some of the, let's just call them ancient texts, different ones will talk about the dangers of connecting directly to the beloved, or to God or to Hashem or to whatever. There are different levels, and why the blue is important is that the blue is not only the destructing and devouring energy and also light of the candle. So if you look at a candle, you'll see that. Because the candle is literally showing you, if you meditate on a candle, maybe we'll do this on Thursday. If you meditate on the candle, you will have access to the highest wisdoms. Not wisdom, wisdoms. Right? Everything is there. So I've taught for a long time the general understanding of my direct experience as the soul, as the flame. But now there's the next level, right? So just sit with it, like as it comes up, because I don't know what you know, what you don't know, what you need to know. Yeah, someone's saying divination by fire is one of the earliest forms of meditation. Divination by fire is how they got the flame letters, is how language came. So in Hindi and Tamil and also in Hebrew, right? And so that's why the flame letters, funnily enough, the flame letters came to me many years ago. At what I call the flame letters, which is the information in particular sequences. That's a whole nother story. So can't believe there's a barge going out. Maybe it's not so rough out there. So on this island, majority of the goods come across on these big barges pulled by a little tugboat. I'm like, and they go out, a couple of times a day. Like they carry all the cars and cargo and all that. I'm like, hat off to you, mate. All right, so where was I? Because I've chopped around. So students would say, oh, okay, I felt the tree. The tree spoke to me. And they don't need to tell me how it spoke to them because I know. It's like, if you don't know, you have to explain it. But if you know, do you understand that? When so in the army, when we'd have these experiences, like veterans and whatnot, and you come home, and it's just people would ask, your family would ask you about these experiences, and it just doesn't make sense unless you were there. You know that you had to be there. Some things are you just had to be there. You can't explain it, right? So that's why when certain subgroups get together, it's a whole different story because there's so much unspoken language of shared experience. And the same within our community, our teaching and our classes and programs and whatnot. You'll have experiences and you try to share that with somebody and you can't. It's so difficult. It's still to this day so difficult for me to explain what happens in these programs. And some of you who have done them, you've said the same thing. I don't even know how to explain. Because it's indescribable a lot of the time, right? Because it's experiential. And so we just have to trust that. But it used to tell you the truth, it used to annoy me because people would ask me, well, what's your business about and all that. I'm like, oh God, right? What's it called? Your elevator pitch. Do you remember that? The elevator pitch? Yeah. I have a few different elevator pitches. Depends who I'm talking to, right? Feel into, do you really want to know? Or you just want to know, right, these bits. If I know, I used to call them blue brothers and sisters. So I don't know if any of you blue brothers and sisters are watching. But I I can tell pretty much. No, I can't. I can tell if you see the blue, because there's you can't see it unless you're activated to a certain degree, right? And I can tell where people are activated to. See, I'm looking at two of you in particular. Anyway, and you know there's a relationship with the blue. And even if it's just a little spark. Now, there's different levels of blue, like I said, but just know this. So I've been teaching you or sharing with you lately about this connection with the Shekinah or the Shlina or the, some people might call her Shakti. So when she came alive in me, all I knew was the Hindu. The Hindu deities came to me first. I had no comprehension of who they were, and they weren't at the same time. It was over years. And interestingly enough, when you look at what their energy is, it was my development, right? So interesting. I'll have to write about it one day. Someone's saying Shakti and Shiva, husband and wife. Yes and no. We come together as the husband and wife, and then we have Adi Shakti. So there's Shakti powers, and then there's Adi Shakti, right? So my relationship, when I went to, I told some of you about when I went to the Kali temple, I stumbled across it. My daughter and I were just walking, and, we stumbled across. Anyway, I had this amazing experience. Of course I did, because she was guiding. And I sat with the holy man there and shared my direct experience of this energy, and he shared his. And it was such a beautiful, he gave me his card. I've still got it today. Do you remember the story? He gave me a banana, and he gave it, right? And other people coming up and touching his feet. They were like, he was the holy man of the whole thing. And we're sitting there conversing, not knowing each other's language. Do you understand? So just breathe on that. We have the capacity to connect to her holy wisdom. And in the scriptures, in the Zohar in particular, it says, and the Zohar is difficult because it's there's not a lot of it translated into English, right? So bear with me. So let me finish that train of thought first, because we have the man and woman, the masculine, feminine, the divine, masculine, divine, feminine. There's this hierarchy, let's say, of that, and that's why when we had our sacred ceremony, there were different levels where we married each other, and then we went higher to the highest point on the earth, and as one union married to became one with the beloved, right? There was a particular, which is at that point up there. Here you go, and this is the back of us at the end. Highest point. Isn't it cool? Anyway, I just got those. He opened them this morning, so I could show you. So they're not going to stay there. They're just sitting on the altar for now. But where was I? So Shakti, Shiva coming together, and then there's Kali Ma. So Kali Ma is a whole different kettle of fish. So I guess looking at the energetics, or even the science of the flame, what I'm sharing is a way of understanding that the flame is one, but there's aspects of the flame. There's the blue, the black, the blue, the red, orange, the white, and then there's the light. So here's a key. So just close your eyes and feel this, what I'm about to say. And then there's the concealed light above the flame. There's the concealed light above the flame. There are different emanations that we can connect with. And when we understand them a little bit more than majority of us do because of the coded, and a lot of information not translated or whatever, the key here is that it comes into me directly, and then I see what other people are talking about. Because unless I had a direct experience, I wouldn't even know what to look for. She guides me. She tells me first, and then I see it, right? It's like, oh, that's what they're talking about. But I see it or experience it slightly this way. So it's not that I'm saying they're lying or it's not the truth. I'll say, they see her too, but slightly from that perspective. That's awesome. Do you understand? We don't have to do it the same. But what I'm here to share and have been for 30 years is this connection to the beloved as holy wisdom, as the Shlina, as the Shekinah, as the Shakti, as the, right? We can categorize them in numerous ways, but they're beyond categorization, and that's why when there's a connection, it's beyond definability. It's not about defining. And this is the thing inside, right, in the program. And as we go through that program, it's beautiful because it's literally like I'm writing this book, right? Because it's a 10-month program. And again, I'm not selling it necessarily, but it's how I can share the information in different ways, right? Because I'm not one to sit down and write, right? Hang on a minute. I just got a message about the fire. I don't know who that is from. Right. We'll keep going. We are getting our things in our car. Who is that from? Hang on. I might have... Oh, whoa. Someone's sending me messages, but I don't know how to get them. All right. Anyway, I'm sure I'll get a phone call. So we'll trust Mother Nature. Wow. I just got to show you. I don't know if I can show you all this. Let me try and show. Zoom. Can you see the flame? The smoke on the ocean? I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? Just behind the little tree. But all up the side, behind all those, was on fire last night. But they've just said it's changed direction, yeah. Look at it. Oh, wow. So it looks like a house has gone up. That's sad. It's because the wind's changed. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Let me just see if I can. Alright. So where was I? Oh yeah, for some of you that just came on late, I'm sitting in fires. I was a little bit late this morning because the power was out and we were getting ready to evacuate. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the wind's changed. But I got a message. It's bizarre. Maybe it's an email. I don't know who that's from though. It says, we are getting our things in our car. You are up higher and may have to worry so much about, but be aware. Who is that though? Okay. Just now, fire is coming south over the hill above ranch entrance. All right, so we're in it. I guess I'm the news. I guess I'm okay here. I have got a car here, and I think apparently, because there's only one. We lived in like it's only one road access. So I asked this morning if they close that road, they're not going to close us in, but apparently they've closed off down the bottom. But there's a way out up the top, but they keep the gate locked or closed. So I guess I could just drive up there if I need be, but we haven't been evacuated yet, and I've been in fire before, and the police basically I'm not even from here. I don't even know. I'm like, where does the road go? I have no idea. I said to Eric when he went to work, I was like, well, you let me know if I have to go somewhere. But oh well. I'm in Hawaii, Big Island, near about an hour from Kona. But all right, so where were we? It's all right. Someone just sent me a MMS, but I don't even know who that is. So all right. Well, we'll probably wrap up anyway because it's 10:30. Let's do this. And if you want to know about anything I've said, I guess you can ask, and we can talk about it more on Thursday. Thursday afternoon. Yeah, that fire's changed. Like, whoa. I have all my visa stuff by my bed because I'm not going through that again. I have a pile of my, immigration stuff sitting near my bed. I'm like, yeah, right. That was at like 1 o'clock when I was watching it going up the hill, but it seemed to go down. But now, yeah, it's changed. It's changed direction. All right, we're gonna do a little for all those people down there in it, because I'm right up the hill. Yeah, I got my go bag. I might just go and put it in the car, the little red car. Protection spells for Cynthia. Yeah, for all the people down there, because I'm up the top of the hill, right, looking down. So there's a lot of houses down there. So let's just give them a bit of love. And all the people all over the world that are going through all sorts of things, right? May the Great Mother just, if we're supposed to be touched, may it be softly, may it be gently, may it come with compassion, love, purity of love. So much energy. It's awesomely, frighteningly cool, you know. I know I'm mad, but that's probably why I survive things, right? Because I just find everything so awesome, even if it's, I just got to show. I'll show you before Instagram, because I didn't show you. Here's the fire, just there, just over the ocean. Although it looks like just the smoke's going over the ocean, right? In my dirty windows. Wow, it looks like the ocean's red over there. Anyway, I think it's just smoke. Oh, I know who messaged the man from down the street. I know who that is. I haven't met him. I've just met his wife. Sorry. That proper windy, yes it is. It's been going since 1 a.m. and I've been like, oh. So I'm going to go out there. So imagine me, I'm going to be standing out there going, and we're going to blow it out into the ocean. Sorry ocean, but it's the safest place. But it's so powerful here. It's the most amazing place. I mean, the places I live tend to be really sort of dangerous, right? It's like everything kills you in Australia, and you feel the energy. Yeah. Ooh. So, okay, I'm pretty sure we're safe. So if there's any questions, world smoke signals, yeah. It's interesting. Well, it is the gate, right? It is the gate, so it's a powerful gate. It's so powerful. But I'm excited to share more with you in the future, and I guess it was just a little bits and pieces about all sorts of things, because there's all sorts of stuff going on. But the blue, I've been shown it not all my life, but all my adult life, and I just had a knowing, and then it came in, and it came in, and it came in, and she has led me and educated me, and the people I have met, it would just blow your mind, and the places I've been without any income, all this sort of stuff. It's like it just makes it happen, and it is. Oh, we are being evacuated. Who is that? Right, I better go and check out, because someone's been. I think they're just down there and they're being evacuated. So, so much love to you, and I'll send you a message to let you know where we are, what's going on. Every time I mention the blues, you get chills. Yeah. You know why, don't you? So sit with her. Sit with her. Holy wisdom rests in me. She rests in me. Shekinah means indwelling. Indwelling. Jesus said at his baptism, she rests in me. It's translated from Aramaic, right? It's one of the Gospel's interpretations, right? I think it was Thomas's, Gospel of Thomas from memory. But anyway, go and look it up yourself. Don't have to believe me. All right, I'm going now in case I have to evacuate. Mwah, love you. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you on Thursday.